Okay. All right. Good morning. Good afternoon, guys. My name is Perla Cerrone. I'm a gold consultant, EVA 100 in the business. I've been here for a little over a year. January of last year was when I started. So we are going to be going over Centrav and how to book flights using Centrav and how to earn a commission using Centrav with flight-only bookings. So typically, as we know, flight-only bookings, you will not receive a commission. There's no commission factored into that. And of course, there's some ways around it. You can add like a service fee or a wholesale fee, but using Centrav, the commission can automatically be factored into the flight, like into the fare, which is really nice. So we're just going to go through just general overview on some of the tabs on the site on Centrav, and then we'll actually get into a booking. Okay. All right. So obviously, once you are signed up, this is going to be your main screen. It's going to take you right here. Centrav is for flight only bookings. This is not for you to package with a hotel, car rental, or anything like that. So this is where you will go just for flights, right? So if you hover over my bookings, this is where you can see any active, past, or canceled bookings, recently booked bookings, just if you need to reference them or if you ever need to send your client a copy of the itinerary, or if for whatever reason you need to contact Centrav, this is where you'll go for that. Under contact, this will obviously be contact. You're contacting someone with Centrav. This can be in relation to a booking. You'll have a subject here, whether if it's to change or cancel a booking, if this is after hours, right? And you can write your message here. There is also an option to contact Centrav directly through the booking that you're currently working on. And I'll show you guys what that looks like too. Under resources, so this is where you will find Centrav Academy. So they have specific training for Centrav for you to then be, fully proficient in their site. Refunds and exchanges. So this will show you what their policies are in terms of for domestic and international tickets for like COVID refunds or exchange type of policies. Okay. Also, if for whatever reason you're wondering why, for whatever reason you're searching and you don't have like a certain city or country is not coming up, this is where you can go to see which destinations are then serviced through Centrav. They have contracts with over 50 airlines. So if you know in particular that your client is looking for a specific airline, you can just go here just to quickly see, okay, good, they partner with Delta or British Airways, and that way you're safe, okay? Documents, group airfare. So you're going to see obviously all of the resources here in terms of travel documents, kind of what to expect, what to request from your client. Group airfare. This will be kind of what you need to know about group air. So with Centrav, a group is going to be a minimum of 10 passengers, okay? Obviously, for groups larger than that, there's an alternative option. It's going to then tell you in more detail, deposit, the names, all of these things. I will say that I did have a group airfare. It was literally just over the minimum at 11 passengers. And when I submitted the request for a group airfare, they then just stated, just because at the time that I was reaching out, there was very limited representatives that were able to kind of assist. So essentially they told me to break up the airfare. So do 7 passengers on one booking and then the remaining 4 passengers on another booking, and just to make sure that they were then on the same flights. Okay, so that was their suggestion when I had reached out to them, just because they were not able to help me group everybody together in just one big purchase. Okay. Under knowledge base, This I really like because this will give you kind of like a go-to spot in case you're stuck, right? And even if you're watching back this recording and you just need additional reinforcement on something in Centrav, you go to knowledge base, and this will literally show you step by step how to edit your itinerary, how to customize your route, right? So what is Trip Builder? You know, what's the point of it, right? How to protect your commission, you know, so receipts and stuff like that. So it's going to then show you how to do all of these things, right? Either with a short video, or, you know, just a little explanation here. Okay. So this is really nice too. All right. So we're going to go back to search. This is going to be that main screen, as I said, once you log in. Okay. So obviously you're going to see the search bar. You're going to then see Trip Builder and then group request. This was that group request that I was just talking about. You can certainly submit a group request through here, but most likely they'll respond the same way they responded to me. If you're able to then just split up the party and then just do 2 different bookings, then that's what they would recommend. Trip Builder. So this in particular is only used if you know you want to use the exact flight. Like, you know, they only want Delta, you know, they want first class or business class, right? So in this one, you are manipulating the search results. You know, in particular, your client wants Delta and they want first class. So in this case, pricing may or may not be that important to you or to your client, right? If we go to search, just the regular search, this is just a regular search bar, right? And you're kind of then just allowing Centrav to get those results for you, okay? You're kind of open to what's out there, and they're gonna get you the best flight schedules, okay? So this will then include round trip, one ways, multi-cities, okay? This also gives you an option then to select your fare, your client's fare, if you know that they want something that's more upgraded, okay? Obviously flying from, flying to, this little pin here, you can customize your routing. So, you know, sometimes when you're flying overseas, a lot of times there are, or maybe even domestically, there are layovers, right? And sometimes you don't have a control over which layover, like which city they're going to be laying over in, right? So this little pin allows you to manipulate that. Like, if you know, for example, your client is like, oh, I want to go to Brazil, but I really want to make, I'm leaving from Pennsylvania and I want to go to Brazil, but I want to have a layover in Miami. Okay. So like, I really want to stop in Miami because I want to spend a few hours there. I don't know, catch up with my mom or something, right? For whatever reason, you click this little pin, and then this will force then the searches to come up with any layovers in Miami. Okay. So this is kind of like a nice feature too, right? Rather than kind of searching through all of the different fares to see which flight itinerary ends or stops in Miami, okay? So adults, children are grouped ages 2 to 11, infants on lap. So this does allow you to then book infants, which is nice. And then the fare types, okay? So you see that it's automatically going to be filtered to Consolidator and published airfares. The difference between those is really not much. So Consolidator versus published airfare, those are essentially the same flights, okay? Published airfare is literally going to be the same exact price that's listed on the airline website. So if you know they're flying with Delta and you're looking at a Delta published fare, and then you go to the Delta website, you're going to find that same exact flight itinerary for the same exact price, okay? Whereas Consolidator fare, it's going to be a different price. It's going to be net to you, because the Consolidator fares will then be broken up into 2, where it'll then just be Consolidator fare, where it will allow you to add a markup, which so you can add a commission, right? Or it will then be a commissionable fare, okay, where the commission is already included in the price, okay? Now there is a markup limit on each of these Consolidator fares. And those regulations, that is all regulated by the airline. So you really have no control. If it says markup limit $500, you cannot go past those $500. Okay. Cruise fare and student fare, obviously very self-explanatory. Cruise fare is if they need flights in relation to like a cruise sailing. Student fare, you know, obviously if you're a student, these are cash fares. Typically they're a little bit cheaper. Usually, from what I learned, I guess there are some other host agencies out there that will accept checks or payments directly from the client, like to the individual, and then like to the agent, and then the agent will go ahead and pay Centrav. So these I probably, you know, that's what that cash fare means. I personally haven't booked any. I don't have any experience with that, but that's what that is. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and search. All right. I do have a trip that I'm working on for some clients, for 4 adults. They are actually planning on going to Adelaide, Australia. And they're planning on leaving from JFK, from New York. Okay. So I'm going to then just essentially pull up a sample itinerary for them. Okay. They're going to be leaving later in the year. So I just decided we're just going to do some pretend dates for our training. And we're just going to do July 10th. And they're planning on going for 3 weeks. We're going to do till the 31st. Okay. And they specifically told me they wanted premium economy. They are the 2 couples. They have, you know, both men are very tall, over 6 feet. So they want that extra leg room. Okay. So they definitely made that very clear. Okay. It does also allow you to filter to nonstop flights only, exclude basic economy fares. So basic economy fares, those fares are going to be the types that literally only yourself and a personal item is allowed on the plane, right? They're not even going to allow you seat selection or a carry-on or anything like that. So if you know from the start that your client does not want this type of fare, you can just immediately exclude it, right? So then that way your search is going to show exactly what is needed. And then you can show some advanced options. So if you know they specifically want an airline, this is nice too in terms of connecting time, so layovers. So let's say these couples that I'm planning a trip for, they only want the layover to be a maximum of 3 hours and a minimum of 1 hour or something, right? So I can certainly do that. And that way now my search is going to be smaller because it's only going to show me the flight itineraries that are going to reflect those connection times. Same thing with flexibility in dates. So this is nice too. I don't really know any other vendors that we have that allow you to do this without you having to literally start your search over. So the flexibility in the dates allows you to kind of put in if your clients are flexible, right? Are they flexible to leave a few days prior to July 10th? Are they flexible to come back a few days before or after July 31st. Okay, so then this will then give you even more options and potentially give you cheaper or maybe even more expensive airfares for your client. Okay, so we're just going to leave it as is, and then we're going to hit search. Okay. Okay. So this is what comes up. So you're going to see that on the top, you're going to see this fare matrix. Okay. It's going to split up the fares into 3, into 2, into 1, right? Depending on the flight itinerary, right? Not all flight itineraries are going to show all of these 3. Okay. So just keep that in mind. All right. So obviously consolidator fares, those are the ones I was telling you about. Published fares, no commission. That's what it tells you, right? No commission. Now, if you filter to consolidator fares, this is where you're able to see your markup limit. These fares are allowing you to manipulate and to add on a commission. And this is the limit, $991. Okay. That's the limit, the highest that you can go for your commission on this consolidator fare, okay? If we hit published fares, now it's going to give you all of the published fares, okay? No commission. So, and there's even a service fee included. So Centrav will now include, this is Centrav's service fee, not a service fee that's going to go to you, okay? And then commissionable fares. So now these fares, out of 500, there's 148 fares that will allow you to have a commission. The commission is already built into the price, okay? So you don't have to put a markup if you don't want to, or a service fee, right? Because your commission is already there, okay? So I am going to filter to commissionable. These clients in particular specifically told me they wanted to fly with Air New Zealand, okay? This was a package I had, or flight that I had booked for them previously. They had to cancel. So now they're trying to rebook for a later time. Okay. So they literally want to mirror the same exact itinerary they had the very first time, which was with Air New Zealand. So you can then filter by suggested, best price, shortest duration, right? So this first one is both, all three: suggested, best price, and shortest duration. So this is going to be the cheapest for the client. This is going to get them there the fastest, right? With the shortest amount of layover, okay? Which is really nice, okay? So we are going to then just select this flight. But obviously, before I move on the left-hand side, you can see there's all these different other filters, okay? Which you can certainly do that if you wanted to. So then this gives you another opportunity to adjust the connecting times, the airlines, right? So you can still make some changes even after you hit search, okay? All right, so we're gonna just hit confirm. Okay, so it's going to give me a little warning here that says one or more flights are in a lower cabin class than you requested. So basically that means I want my client specifically said premium economy, right? So they will receive premium economy fare on the way to Auckland Airport in New Zealand. However, their connecting flight from Auckland to Adelaide, Australia will be an economy fare. Okay, I have seen that happen with some fares. Now, if you know that your client is very adamant on a upgraded fare for all legs of their flight, then you'll have to, make those adjustments. Okay, so that's why I'm getting that little warning. All right. I also like how this tells you how many bags are included. So they will then receive, each traveler will have 2 checked bags with each leg of their flight, okay? Plus, that doesn't include their carry-on, right? They're going to have a carry-on because this is an upgraded fare, so they will automatically have a carry-on plus a personal item, right? And because they're premium economy, they're going to have that extra leg room. They're going to get some meals and beverages already included, okay? This will even tell you the terminals, how many miles, what airline, what kind of plane it's going, right? On what kind of plane they're going on. Okay. Here's that commission, $950. Now it splits it into per adult. So it's $237.50 per adult. So total $950. Okay. Now this will also tell you here, you can link over to Air New Zealand and it will give you a link over to the airline website that will then give you all of the rules / policies, whatever, on their baggage, which is nice, right? So let's say this was maybe a basic economy fare and you wanted to know how much is it for an extra bag, or are they even allowed an extra bag, right? So this is nice that it's right here for you. You don't have to go searching on Google, right? Seat assignment information. So this is going to take you over to a Centrav article. Essentially what happens is once you book this fare for your client, you will then have an opportunity to go on airnewzealand.com, their airline website, and you'll be able to then select their seats for them. You're not going to be able to select seats for them on Centrav, okay? Just to kind of clear that up. So you won't be able to select seats until after it's booked, okay? As long as the fare includes that seat selection, then it'll be free. Otherwise, if it's not, then you then they'll have to just pay for each of their seats. Okay. All right. If for whatever reason you wanted to edit this itinerary, you could change the number of travelers, you could, and this is not going to kick you back to the beginning. Okay. So let's say all of a sudden they're like, oh, another couple is coming with us and now it's 6 adults, right? You could do that. Okay. Now it has some upgrades. If for whatever reason or they said they wanted to go to business class instead, you could then, you kind of have this price readily available. It's significantly more, right? $25,000 more. But you can then offer them that pricing if for whatever reason they asked. Okay. And it doesn't force you to go back to the beginning to be like, oh, wait, let me see what price, how much more it would be to upgrade. You know what I mean? So this is nice. Okay. So now it's going to ask you for the travelers' names. Okay. So I have some pretend clients that I'm just going to put their names and date of births in here just so that I can show you guys how the checkout process would work. Okay, now usually when we check out on a vendor or supplier, right, it's going to ask us for their phone number and for their email address, right? And so usually we automatically default and we put our email address, right? Because we don't want them to receive the itinerary, we want to receive it. But this here is so that the airline can communicate directly with the client in the event of any cancellation or schedule changes. Okay, so this will then give them direct access to the client. Okay, so it's not that they're sending them itineraries or anything like that. Okay, this is specifically just for any flight updates, cancellations, changes. Okay. If for whatever reason you knew Matilda had her passport information with her and she wanted to provide that to you, you can then just hit this little red here and you can input her passport information. It's not required at all in order to check out. Okay. If she was like a member with Air New Zealand or like a rewards member or something, you can put that here. For TSA pre-check, if she was like a TSA pre-check member, you would put that here under known traveler number. Okay. But it's really not required at all. All right. So Matilda's husband is Samuel Smith. Okay. And then the second couple is Jocelyn Jacobs. And then her husband, Matthew Jacobs. All right. So now what happens is when you scroll down, it's going to have all of the travelers' information here, asking you to essentially do a double check. Are you sure their names are exactly as they are on their government IDs, their date of birth, their genders? Okay, so it's forcing you to double check, right? To prevent and to minimize those mistakes. I know that we're all human and sometimes we forget the A or the S or something, right? Or we read the name wrong or something like that. So this forces you to kind of then just do a double check and to make sure with your clients that their names, their date of births, their genders, right? Everything is the way that it is, okay? So you have to then hit I confirm in order to book, right? It's not going to allow you to select book, okay? So what's really nice with Centrav is that you can book this now and apply payment later. So if you want to secure this pricing and you let your client know, and they're like, you know what, let me just talk it over with the other couple. I will get back to you. Okay. Just make sure that you're communicating with them. As it says here, payment is required by tonight, 11:55 p.m. Central Time. Okay. So obviously you can do the math depending on whatever time zone you're in. But they would have to let you know by later this evening. Okay. So, which is nice because in that way you're not like sitting on the phone just waiting for a response. You can at least secure that payment for them and apply a payment later. Okay. Or you can also obviously enter the payment information now. Okay. So you're going to see these rules Keep in mind that these rules are literally going to be the same rules across all airlines. This is just a very general type of rule. If there was something in particular that you wanted to make sure that was listed under rules, I will under here, I will show you how to do that. Okay. So we're just going to hit, I'd like to book this now and apply payment later. So that way you guys can see what that looks like and then how to then apply the payment. Okay. So we're going to hit book. And what happens is, once you hit book, you are going to immediately receive a confirmation email with the itinerary, okay? And it'll take you here. Your booking has been reserved, okay? Here's that reference number specifically for Centrav if I needed to search this, okay? And now it's telling me that I need to pay for this booking by tonight, okay? So status needs payment. So obviously you can see here, here's the breakdown per adult, right? Their traveler price with the commission per adult, and then the total price with the total commission, okay? Now, if for whatever reason you wanted to cancel this booking, you can do this from here. If you want to make another booking like this, so let's say they said, let's say this was booked and they're like, oh, my friends, our other couple wants to come with us. Can they just come on the same flight with us since it's already booked? Okay, fine. Just make another booking like this. And it's literally going to copy the exact same itinerary and apply it to a new one. And it's going to ask you how many travelers, how many children, stuff like that. Okay. If you need to contact Centrav at all regarding this booking, so remember how I said under contact, how you have that little box and you can then also contact them from a booking. So this is where you would do that. So that way then it's going to pull the booking information over into that contact form. And then you can discuss with them whatever questions you have. Okay. Check for price changes. So let's say you booked this already and now you want to see, is it cheaper? Is it more expensive? You can do that. Okay. Receipts. So this is where you have 3 options to send to your client. Okay. Well, there's 4 options. Obviously, agent receipt is very self-explanatory. That's for us, right? That's going to show the commission. All right. If we do traveler quote, no pricing included, that's literally going to show them just the itinerary. No prices. Okay. This allows you to create a message and send it directly from your email. So it's going to come directly from you. So when it says add a custom message, which is optional, you don't have to, you can literally copy recommended. Copy recommended from Centrav, and it's literally going to give you a nice little blurb here, a few paragraphs, and this is what it looks like. Your booking has been reserved. Please check the spelling. All that information, right? Now the rules. You can copy from the rules, which again, these rules are very general airline rules. They are not specific to Air New Zealand, okay? So if you knew that Air New Zealand, let's say you went on Air New Zealand and you saw that with the premium economy fare, they do have free cancellation, free changes, okay? So you can then put here, Air New Zealand. Free changes and free cancellations with premium economy or something along the lines, right? Until a certain date, something like that, right? So now when you scroll down under rules, there's that edit that you made, okay? Or you can completely erase all of these rules and put something else, right? If you do traveler quote, credit card price, this will give your client, this again is going to save what I just did previously, okay? But this will give your client the total price. It's not going to show the commission, okay? Because this is the client's copy. And it's going to give them that $19,722. Now, flexible card price is going to be a different price. And I'll show you why it's more expensive, okay? And I'll show you on the payment screen why it's more expensive. So this gives them 2 different options in terms of payment, okay? You are also able to add on travel insurance. So using Yonder, you can still earn commission. I personally have not used this, but it kind of reminds me of Tinleg. If any of you are familiar with Tinleg, you still search here, and then it's going to pull up all of these different packages for the client to choose from. Okay. So very similar to Tinleg. All right. All right. So if we're on this page and now we want to apply a payment. Okay. So we're scrolling down all the way. Now you can see the commission per adult. If you wanted, you could still even add a service fee if you wanted to, but I'll show you what happens when you do. So this is what happens with the service fee. Let's say you want to add on an additional $100. Oh, geez. Additional $100 for service fee. So that's then going to be an additional $400 service fee. That is then going to be added onto your commission. Okay, so your total profit is $13.50. If you do that, your client will be charged twice. They will be charged the total amount, which is $19,722, and then they will be charged $400 separately for service fee. Okay, that's what happens with the service fee. It's going to essentially, it's not going to be built into the price of the airfare. Okay, this is the credit card payment. Now, the flexible card payment, the reason it's more is because you're going to then avoid multiple charges. So now it's going to literally bundle everything all together into one charge. And I guess because of the convenience of that, they charge an additional $700. So it's more expensive out of that convenience to charge your client just once versus explaining you're going to have two separate charges. Okay. You then can have your agency name on the credit card statement rather than like Centrav's. So it gives you a little bit more of kind of like a customization type. So, but depending on the total airfare, it can be a significant amount. Okay. So we're going to erase the service fee and just put it back. Okay. So regardless, now the client is still just going to have one charge. Okay. All right. So when we go here and we're just going to do credit card payment, we're going to choose this option. Centrav allows you two options. You can send a secure payment link to your client and your client can pay, right? So let's say they're like, I'm getting ready for work. I can't process this payment right now. Okay, no problem. I can send you the link, and they would have then until later this evening, that cutoff time, to submit that payment. Okay. And this is what it's going to look like on their end. When you preview, it's not going to show this, obviously, but it's going to show them their itinerary. It's going to have my info here with my logo, which is nice, right? Travelers, their itinerary, and then at the bottom, it'll then have an option for them to submit a payment. Okay. So you can send it in an email, you can send it in a text message, which is nice. And you can then send add a note. Okay. And then you obviously have to select all of these three. Okay. Now, what happens when you send this, I believe. Okay, so I'm going to show you two ways. What happens when you do it this way, and we're just doing commission that's built into the total cost of the airfare, the airline is going to determine the descriptor for the charge, meaning on their credit card statement, it's going to show whatever, Air New Zealand, blah, 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 whatever the airline has determined. Okay. Same thing if you enter the card information yourself. Okay. Now, if we hit apply payment, let's just accept these. I'll show you what it looks like now, like live, right? Here are the prices of everything. You can charge this to a single card. You can split by travelers. So if you know that the couples want to pay for their leg and then the Jacobs couple wants to pay for their leg, they can do it that way, okay, which is nice. And then complete payment, okay? So let me go back because we're not completing a payment. And we're going to go back one more time. Okay, so if I put this service fee back on, I'm going to show you what happens. Now, although it's going to come up twice on the client's card, but I'll show you what happens now. You have a little bit more of a control over it, regardless if you're sending them the payment link or if you're taking the payment yourself. So if you have a service fee, whether if it's a service fee because commission is included, or maybe commission is not included in this fare and you just wanted to add a service fee, you now have the option to change the descriptor for that service fee charge. Okay, so you then have 3 options here. You can change it to whatever you want. All right, so air booking fee, I think this is like the confirmation number on Centrav, or have it say Archer Travel, okay, or whatever you put on your registration. Okay, so this now gives you an option that you can then customize what that descriptor is going to look like for your client. Okay, same thing if you put the credit card information online yourself. Okay, so just something I wanted to point out, just in case. Okay, now if for whatever reason you are doing like a markup and which is separate from a service fee. So just keep that in mind. Markup is separate from a service fee. That was one of the very first fares I showed you that had a markup option. Anytime that you are exceeding that markup limit, so I know that there is that limit, but anytime that you exceed it, there's going to be an additional 3.5% fee that's going to be added when paying with the credit card, with your client's credit card or your credit card, however you want to. Okay. So what you could do to kind of bypass that service fee. So rather than if the markup limit is $4,000, rather than putting $4,500, you can then put $4,000 on the markup and then $500 on the service fee. So you would split it up that way to then still receive, your payout. So then that way there's no additional fee on that credit card. Okay. If you are adding a markup, that is going to then be hidden into the cost of the fare. Okay. There's not going to be an additional charge to the card. The only time that there's that additional charge to the card is when there's that service fee. When you're adding a service fee manually by yourself, that's when there's going to be an additional charge, like how it is here, $400 to be charged separately. Okay. That's going to be seen by clients. So it's really going to be up to you how you want to set it up for yourself, how you want to set it up for your clients. Okay. Now in terms of Centrav will pay out the commissions, pay out the commissions. However, the moment that your client cancels, if for whatever reason they cancel, that commission is then revoked. So there's a way to protect that commission. So in terms of cancellation, so if they were to cancel, right? What you would want to do is you would find out whatever that fee is for canceling and then add your commission to that fee. So that way you still get paid. Does that make sense? So let's say you find out your client wants to cancel. And let's say you were going to receive a $200 commission from this booking. Now the cancellation fee is, I forget what I just said. How much to cancel? Let's just start over. Let's say in order to cancel, it's $200 per traveler. Okay, so $800. And that's payable to the airline. But let's say you were going to receive $200 commission from this booking. Okay, so you would then essentially add $200 to that $800 cancellation fee, making $1,000. So you would say in order to cancel, it's $1,000. And that way, then you still receive your commission. Okay, does that make sense? Let me just show you here under my bookings. Now you see this payment. Now you see this itinerary. Okay, it's going to come up yellow, needs payment, and when it's paid by. Okay, and I can always go in here, view it if I'm ever getting back on the phone with the client, and I can pull this up here and now process her payment. Okay. All right, so I'm going to stop recording now and we will get into questions.